I'm a good man, shake your hand, firm grip rule, 72 wins, lost 10, ballin' with the flu, more than 2 M's.
Yo, have you ever thought about that fear is such an interesting topic? That most of the fear, that a lot of people are living in fear? Like, I was over here sitting with my girl, we was driving, and I was just thinking that most people will never live a life truly in faith. So I gotta ask you this question right now. Are you actually living a life truly in faith? And when I mean truly in faith, I mean with no fear. So like, what is fear? You know, we always say fear means false evidence appearing real. But let me ask you, what are you actually afraid of? Like, do you have any significant proof that what you're afraid of is actually real? Because a lot of times the things that we're afraid of 99% of the time is illogical, it's irrational. It actually doesn't make sense, right? But it's crazy how the thing that you think about the most will come into your life, right? One of my favorite sayings is a thought that is uninterrupted will always manifest itself into a physical form. So let me ask you, how are you actually handling your fear? Do you know how to overcome your fear? Or do you know how to let your fear take over? Because I know I'm not the only one that you think of something, then that thought keeps ruminating, and that's the thing you think about over and over again. You may dream about it. So I'm gonna put you up on game on how to handle fear, because fear is really irrational. Like, fear is something that we're making up. Like, you have no proof that that's gonna happen, so why are you worried about it? Like, matter of fact, why are you concerned about something that has nothing to do with you? Let me say this again. Why are you actually concerned about something that has nothing at all to do with you? Like, fear ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, we're going to learn how to like walk by faith, but also I'm going to help you actually overcome fear. The first thing I need you to understand with fear is there's energy involved whenever you're doing something, okay? So as a human, we're limited resources. I'm not sure if you noticed, but as humans, we're limited resources, which means that our energy is finite. That means that it's limited, which means that if my energy is limited, I cannot give all of my energy to having faith, and I cannot give all of my energy to having fear. I have to choose which one I'm going to actually let basically rule. Like, is it going to be my fear that I'm going to let take over? Or is it going to be my faith I'm going to let take over? And when you truly understand that my energy is a limited resource, you're going to actually really pay attention to where your energy is going. Right? There's this saying in this book, it says, wherever your energy goes is where your energy is going to grow. Right? Wherever your energy goes, it's going to flow. So when you actually think about it from this perspective, anything that is a limited resource, you have to maintain it. You have to pay attention to it. Because if it's a limited resource and you don't pay attention to it, you will run out. But let me rewind, let's say it in this way. If you have food that's a limited resource, you know you only had 2 pieces of chicken in the refrigerator, and it's a limited resource, but you're just eating like you got 30 pieces of chicken. After you eat those 2 pieces of chicken, what's gonna happen? It's gonna be gone, and then you're gonna be without. So the word limited, and when you understand that energy is a finite resource, energy is a limited resource, that means that you can actually run out of energy and go without, which means you can actually have lack of energy. So you want to really pay attention to where is my energy actually going, because if your energy isn't going into a positive outlet that can help you become the best version of yourself, if your energy isn't going to actually help you elevate, right? Because think about it. What's the point of me worrying? There's a difference between worry and concern. We're going to talk about it later, but what's the point of me actually worrying? What do I get from that? Stress, loss of relationships, hurt, headaches, loss of hair for some folks. You feel me? Like, what do you actually get from that? You know what I mean? Like, and once you understand that fear is something that's actually very, very controllable to overcome, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's in your control to overcome it. That when you understand that what I focus on grows, a lot of fear will actually be like really dispelled, like really gone away. But let's go like deeper, right? You're 42% more likely to achieve your goals when you actually write them down. So let's think about this. If fear is a thought, okay? We talked about before how to overcome fear with faith, how to overcome, fear with faith, yeah. So if fear is a thought, what can overcome a thought? Another thought. But also, too, words, right? Think about this. Whatever you hear, whatever you speak, you are actually saying it and you're hearing it. And whatever you think about, you say. So if I can control what I speak, I can control what I write down, which is a goal. I can control what I'm thinking. I can control the fear. But also, too, do you know fear is actually a very good thing? Nothing is innately bad, okay? Nothing is just bad in itself, but why is fear good? Fear is an indication that something good can happen, that's so good. Fear is an indication that something good can happen. And then fear is also an indication. It's like a yellow light, like hold up now. Like get back on track. So think about that as it's a yellow light, because fear can't come into something that you don't have a good side of it, right? Everything in life has two sides called polar opposites, okay? Everything in life, no matter a piece of paper, anything has two sides. It's called the law of polarity. So what that means is that whenever there's fear, something bad can happen, something equally as good or even better can happen. That's so good. I'm gonna say this one more time. Whenever there is fear that can happen, something equally or better than can actually happen. So everything is two sides. So if there is a chance I have a thought of fear, or I'm afraid, or I'm worrying about something, there's something equally as good on the other side that I can actually use, can overcome. Matter of fact, that I can focus on. I actually got to shift my perspective. I actually got to shift my focus, because when your focus is looking left, you can't look right. The brain is so simple. So my job is not to, I'm not saying, oh, well, how can I stop, fear? Fear sometimes, honestly, you can't stop it, but you can redirect your thoughts, because the only way to stop a thought is with another thought. And it's crazy. Everything has two sides. It's called duality, right? It's called duality. So if there is always fear, please remember this. If there is always fear, there's always going to be faith on the other side. So if fear is here, faith is here. My job is to focus on the other thought. Because here's the crazy part about this. I don't have to worry. Okay, let me put into this perspective. When I fear, there is a negative outcome, which means that there is an automatic positive outcome on the other side, which means that I don't even have to think about the positive outcome. The positive outcome is already a thought in my mind. It's so good. The positive outcome is already a thought in my mind. All I have to do is shift my focus from worry to abundance, from lack to love. It's that simple. Like, you don't even have to think about, like, you already know. You already know the good thing that's on the other side. You just have to shift your focus. It's the small things that make the big difference. Imagine if I told you on the other one, imagine if we answer everything, man, I'm worried about money, but God. I'm going to give you a good example. Man, I'm worried about money, but God can give me more money than I ever thought about actually tomorrow. Man, I'm worried about my test tomorrow, but I actually could pass that test with an A. Man, I'm worried that I'm not good enough. Who says that? Maybe you are good enough. Literally, on the other side, there's something that's already there on the other side. You just have to shift your focus, and you have to dive deep down, because the inner thought, yes, I'm telling you, there is a law of duality, the law of polarity. If there is a negative thought, there is an equally positive thought or a better positive thought that's already there. You just have to dig deep down, do the inside work, and find it.